Brian McKnight beats his baby mama terrorist in court allegedly. We'll give you the rundown on this story. This story is something that I covered not that long ago, and there were several videos that I covered on this one. Just to give you the update on this situation right here. Brian McKnight is an R&B singer, white people. All right, so for the white people listening to the show, this is Brian McKnight. Wait a minute, that's not Brian McKnight. This is Brian McKnight. Brian McKnight is an R&B singer. He's had some hit songs, mainly in probably the 2000s and so forth and so on. And he, like a lot of these singers, they become famous and they have to sing these songs that they made that were famous for the next 50 years. All right, it sucks to them and nobody cares about their new catalog. And he's been doing a lot of shows ever since then. Unfortunately, he's ruined his reputation got ruined because he had a black wife at one particular point. And the relationship soured, and she got primarily custody of the kids. And she was able to demonstrate that Brian McKnight is a deadbeat. He cheats on his wife, and he sleeps with white women and Asian women, and so forth and so on. All right, and he does. I actually played basketball against Brian McKnight some 20 years ago, and he had an Asian woman sitting on the sideline being his cheerleader. All right, so he ended up marrying a Hawaiian Asian woman, I believe. So it's kind of par for the course. Since he fell out with the wife has been saying that he's a deadbeat. And even then to the point where his kids kind of fell in line with the mother, which typically is something that we see happen with parental alienation. All right, so the kids, the boys, side with the mom. Brian McKnight feels isolated. He says, what the hell? And then he starts a new family, which is the masculine power. Right? Our power in masculinity is to be able to spread our seed and have as many kids as we possibly can. Society tells us otherwise, right? Monogamy, be faithful, have one kid. If your wife only wants to have one kid, you only have one kid, right? They strip that away. The child support system is a way for them to control that, right? By saying you can't have children by multiple women. You can't be fruitful and multiply. They have you under the faithful monogamy, and then the system is, hey, if you start a relationship with this woman and have kids, you got to take care of those kids before you start having kids with other women. Otherwise, we penalize you. So financially, one of the things that we do is say, hey, I had kids with this woman, and then it didn't work out. Now I'm paying child support. I can't afford to have kids with another woman. It becomes a barrier, and that's what child support does, right? For right and for wrong, right? It's right. You should take care of your kids. You can't run away from them. But also, it becomes ill-advised financially to have kids with other women. So it prevents you from doing that. If you're rich, you can overcome that. Elon Musk, Nick Cannon, Brian McKnight. So what he did was, I'm going to start a new family. All right, this first family didn't work. We had 2 or 3 sons. This didn't work. All right, I don't have relationships with these kids. So he's not just going to sit at home. He said, I want to have new kids, but he did it with a non-black woman. At that point, he has been ostracized from the black community, and thus his name is dirt. Because all they have to say is you're a deadbeat, and that's essentially what happened when the sons got older. Okay, so when the sons got older, they basically came out and they said, oh, let me just show you this. Let me show you this as I'm explaining the story, because this is important. This is the new mom, wife, baby mama. And as you can see, she's a little Hawaiian Asian looking woman. And she had kids from a previous man, which, if you're in your 40s and 50s, more than likely, if you're going to get remarried, you're not going to get married to a teenager or a woman in her 20s. It's going to be a woman similar age, and she's more than likely going to have kids. So not only is he a stepfather, he's also a father with this new woman. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here as I get to the main event subject matter. So since she's non-black, that's more ammunition for the black community to turn against him, okay? To turn against him. Why are you not taking care of your black boys? Then when the boys got older, what they then said was, we just want a relationship with our father, Brian McKnight, who's a singer, but he doesn't want to have a relationship with us. Okay, so they were able to play the victim and say he hasn't been around for X amount of years. I think he also has a daughter that he got into a legal battle with. So his whole family with this woman has been completely torched. And he's been saying, I've been alienated against him. It's the baby mom. Now, the baby mom is throwing rocks and hiding hands. She's playing hey, I've just been a good woman and he ain't shit. And everybody believes it, right? Everybody can believe that. And of course, then when they see them he has a child by another woman, it's believable. Then it gets worse. It gets worse because the boys want a relationship with him. He doesn't want a relationship with them. He actually disowns them publicly. He basically says, I don't want anything to do with them. All right. This comes from trauma. They're all traumatized in this situation. And Brian McKnight's like, I got a new family. I'm going to move on. Then what happens is one of the boys' name is Brian McKnight Jr. He has a baby with this Asian Hawaiian woman, taking care of the stepkids, names the second kid, or names the kid with the Asian woman, Brian Jr. So, yes, he's disowned the boys from the black family. They're now grown. They want a relationship with dad. He said, fuck that shit. Has another child with another woman, names that kid Brian Jr. All right, so there's two Brian Jr.'s. I mean, that is a slap in the face. Okay. Now, I don't think they have the same last name. It could be possible that they have a different name, but he now names the other kid Brian Jr. Now, like, god damn. So that is essentially saying the previous family does not exist. All right, I've disowned them. I haven't a relationship with them. They made it hard for me. I pay my child support. The black community is shitting on this. They're poo-pooing on this. They don't want nothing to do with this. Brian McKnight Sr. name is dirt at this particular point. His name is dog doo-doo. So black women are up in arms. He cannot sell any tickets to concerts and so forth and so on. To further complicate things, one of the sons develops cancer. The son's name is Nico. He dies recently. Brian McKnight does not even, that doesn't sway him. Brian McKnight saying, it is what it is, nigga. Whatever. All right, you're not my son. I disowned you. Die slow. This is a heartless point of view, to which then the baby mother, the original baby mother, says he didn't even show up when Nico was dying. All right, so this is where it gets worse for Brian McKnight. This is worst case scenario. Not only are you disowning them and not raising these black boys, the black boys want you to be their dad. He said, fuck them kids. And now Nico's, and he names the other kid Brian Jr., and now Nico is dying of cancer and he doesn't come in to help. Now, here's the problem with this, and this has been going on for years. So it culminated with the death of Nico. All right, he was in the hospital. Brian McKnight allegedly never visits Nico. As you can see, this is very, very, very heartless and, dare I say, ruthless way to deal with this. Very ruthless. All right, and so as you can tell, judging from this article that was written a year ago, he got canceled for this. He got canceled for this, all right? So much so that it affected his bottom line. He had to cancel concerts due to this family controversy. Now, since we know about the court of public opinion, and we tell you guys all the time, when it comes to these stories, we don't hear the entire story, okay? Most of the time, it's the woman throwing rocks and hiding hands, all right? Sometimes the kids don't even understand the story. They don't have the entire details. We know that there's emotions involved and there's legalities involved. And then when the man tries to speak up, he just gets poo-pooed, all right? Nah. They're just going to say, just take care of your kids. Do the right thing. Be the bigger man, right? And so Brian McKnight says, I am not going to be the bigger man. Fuck that, bro. And he does look like CGA right there. Come on. Why everybody trying to look like CGA? All right, shout out to Brian McKnight right here with the baldy and the gray beard. New world order. So here's the thing. It says fans of R&B singer Brian McKnight are boycotting his concerts following his controversial remarks about his oldest biological child or children, who he has publicly disowned. McKnight, known for his hits in the 90s and the early 2000s, now prioritizes a new family, which involves or includes his current new wife, and their children, and her eldest children from a previous relationship. Now, they're also not saying in here that it's a non-black woman. That's important. Okay, that's important in the context of the conversation. It's a non-black woman. All right, I'm saying she's Asian, but I think she's Hawaiian. All right, by nationality, state, if you will.
The Money Mindset 2025. Join us if you are looking to elevate your mindset to the next level and get your financial information and game back to where it needs to be. This is the blue chip mindset on steroids. We have 80 plus episodes from the last 2 years that you missed available via playback. You can get all of those episodes. Also, every live stream on Sunday night with all of our great contributors with subjects: cryptocurrency, investment, money 101, money 201. Also, if you're looking to become a social media content creator, this is the group for you. 2 times a month, we give you content creator information about how much money you can make via content creation. What are the most popular forms of content creation coming forward in the next few years, and how you can capitalize on an opportunity to be a content creator. Join patreon.com/Coach Greg Adams to find the Money Mindset link. Let's get our blue chip mindset on. The window is still open.
Residents, but I don't know, what her nationality is. Just judging from the name, there's Brian Jr., but as you can see, she's Leilani McKnight. All right, but I don't see. I guess he legally changed his name to Brian, this Hawaiian name in the middle, McKnight Sr. So maybe he took her last name and combined it. All right, but the original son was Brian McKnight Jr. Okay, so you see that. So there is, Pacific Islander. I don't know what her background is. All right, I can't really tell. Oh, she Filipina? Man, shout out to the Filipinas, man. Filipinas taking over the world here. Shout out to the Filipinas. Where we at here?
What kind of fuck you give me? I cook, I suck, I shut the fuck up.
Okay, so now that we got that, the nuance, let's talk about this. Brian McKnight allegedly was having a silent battle, okay, which we didn't know about, but nor did people care about. The silent battle is he possibly might have had her in litigation the entire time because his bottom line was greatly being affected. Okay, so they're canceling concerts because of this. Right, she's throwing rocks and hiding hands. His reputation's being dragged. He's getting canceled. His money getting short. And guess what? He's like, somebody got to pay for this. Now, he didn't come out and tell everybody, I'm going to sue you. You're going to hear from my lawyer. But what we now know as of yesterday, Brian McKnight saying, I've been awarded $8.8 million in damages plus punitive damages following a verdict. Now, we don't know what the verdict is, but he's insinuating that he has been wronged and the court has agreed with him that the ex-wife, in fact, was the bad guy and he has been awarded these damages. Let me read the context here, and we know he ain't gonna see a dime of this, but the world is silent about it, and I cannot be silent about it because these are the type of things that men do, and it takes 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years for us to see any retribution, right? Your kids come back and they're 30 and they finally say, damn, my mom was tripping. And then you like, okay, now you got to fix the damage, and now you got to take care of this kid that's 25 and 30 and 35 and 40. But just because you're awarded damages doesn't mean you're going to get them. But this is vindication for Brian McKnight. In my situation, I got the same thing where, I fought for a battle of my custody of my son late. They were trying to paint me as a deadbeat and a non-contributor to child support and all of these things, only for me at the last year when my son was 17 to get a printed record. They did an investigation on the family to discuss and basically say, hey, the son wants to be a part of the dad's life. The dad wants to be a part of the son's life. He's not a deadbeat. All right. It's the mom keeping the son away from the dad. That's the vindication. You don't need the money. You're not going to get the money. We know when you sue a woman, you're not getting the money. But what he wants to do, and what the world is going to be silent about, except for me, is to demonstrate. This is what happens to men. We have to play the long game to get our retribution. And unfortunately, the relationship between the sons had been fractured. He had to see his son die and not be a part of it. Okay. He had to start a new family. And now he's now going to expose the mother. Let me just go ahead and show you. For men thinking it's about the money, you're wrong. It's not about the money. It's not about him getting the money. It's about him now being able to say, that bitch been lying. And sometimes as men, the world don't want to hear us during the process. They just say, just be a man. Just be there for your kids. Take care of your responsibilities. Don't be a deadbeat. But at the end of the day, it wasn't you the entire time. Let me play this. This is Brian McKnight here, smoking a cigar. And this is what he has to say.
It's been a long journey getting to this day, October 16th, 2025. But we are here in the English countryside, about an hour and a half outside of London. And the verdict is in. We've been quiet, listening to liars continue to lie and keeping to ourselves, living and loving our life, as we said, leaving everything in God's hands and letting our lawyer do the talking. But according to the courts, trying to ruin my name and trying to bring harm to my family in a book filled with lies equals $8.8 million. And this is just the beginning, because anyone and everyone that helped promote these lies will hear from my lawyer in the days to come. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. That from my voicemail is the voice of a liar.
All right. So there must have been a book. All right. I don't know who wrote the book. I don't know if it was the ex-wife writing the book or somebody writing on the behalf of the ex-wife. All right. So forth and so on. All right. And if he was named in the book, which I've been very, very conscious of doing this, because you'd be like, CGA, you talk about your ex-wife. I've never named her by name. I've never showed you a picture. Okay. The person doesn't exist as far as you're concerned. She's just the next wife. And I've been conscious of this because a lot of you guys been like, why he never show a picture of her? Bro, I'm talking about her I'm talking about her in a certain way. You don't show a picture, video, and name this person. Okay, you don't do this. All right? Not trying to hide her. You just don't do stuff like this. All right, unless they are on video doing something criminal, then you can put them up there. But if you're just telling stories about an individual and you name them and you put their picture up, okay, you can have yourself liable. In this situation, yeah, she's a fictional character as far as we're concerned to tell the story. So here you go right here. Let's listen to the voicemail of what the person that we know is supposed to be the deadbeat here tells the world.
Do not text Nico again. Do not call Nico again. Leilani, if you are also checking these messages, that goes for you as well. I am very serious about this. I am very serious about this. Do not text him, period. Period. Please understand that. And Brian, you know me. You know me. And you know that I mean what I'm saying to you.
Let me stop right here. Let me stop right here. When I say that men deal with this all the time, but then when they call you a deadbeat and be the better man, and if your kids want a relationship with you, you just got to go in and let bygones be bygones. That's not always the best strategy, all right, because they're committing what I think is a crime against humanity against you, all right, by violating your relationship with your kids, putting them not in the best situation. And your kids sometimes co-sign with it. Your kids don't come back for the right reason. They come back because they're broke. They come back because the mom don't have no more child support money. But if you hear her message, and I do have a video of her where she's sitting up here, I was good and he was a deadbeat, right? She was up there playing the angel. But listen to the voicemail. Right, and I said, bro, and he didn't play this voicemail before the lawsuit was settled. He let everybody call him a deadbeat, but he said, I got the truth here. I'll show you how evil this woman is and how she's been saying, stay away from my son. Even when the son wanted a relationship, I believe this is when he was with the new wife. That could have been around the time where Nico was sick. She names Nico by name, not the Brian, it's Nico. So this could have been around the time he was sick and the mother saying, stay away. Do not text. Do not call. Even targeting Leilani, who's the new non-black wife, you don't call either if you're listening. So when Brian's saying, hey, I tried, I've been trying, but guess what? They're putting up these barriers. You guys know when your kid comes back, the mother also comes back too. You guys realize that too. Especially then when you're dealing with a lawsuit, hospital, graduation, college. When your kid says, I want to be back, I want to hang out with you, guess who you also get back? The mother, the baby mama terrorist being there. And sometimes the kid is being used as a pawn so the baby mama terrorist can get in there and get information about you and fuck you over. So he knows that. But he just had to stay silent and be like, I guess I'm a deadbeat. I'm going to be the asshole. But he got his vindication on this situation here. He got his vindication. He was like, yep. All right, nah. All right, the ex-wife trying to get back in. Well, you know, we could have been a wonderful family after all these years. Nah, get away. Remember when Deion Sanders walked away? Let me pull that up. All right, that's funny here. Deion Sanders and Pilar. Pilar senior night. Let's see if we can pull this up. Let me see if we can get the video. Because Deion Sanders knew. Here we go right here. We do have the video right here. Deion Sanders like, nah, stay the fuck away. But Deion Sanders was able to get custody from his wife when they were minors. All right, here we go. So this is in right senior night, and there's the mom walking up. Let's see what Deion does. Mom's walking up facing the boys. This is the handoff. Let's see what Deion Sanders does here. Out of there. Quickly. I thought he had turf toe. That's why the nigga had to get his toe chopped off right here. All right, how fast he done dipped out of there. He come that crazy bitch. All right. So Deion Sanders said, nah, bruh. All right, that's evil coming this way. All right, that's evil. Not even through my sons will I let evil come my way. All right, but let me see if I can find that video of Brian McKnight's ex-wife speaking here so you can see how messed up the game is. Speaks. See if we can find that video. Yeah, she has a book. So she wrote a book in 2025 and he promptly sued her ass. All right. So yeah, he wasn't playing. We do have a video of oh, this is on Tasha K, so I can't play that. Yeah, the ex-wife here. Let's see here. Okay, so this is her right here. The ex-wife coming up on the screen right here. Let's see right here. Julia McKnight discusses communicating with ex-Brian during son's illness.
I did receive out of the blue a text from him about a year ago when our son Nico was, going through his healing, his healing process. So I did get a very, very, very negative text from him during that process. And I'm glad you asked that, because then I can address, he made a comment where he hasn't contacted our son because I left a very, he didn't say harsh, very aggressive voicemail.
You see how she covering it up? Yeah, he left an aggressive, he said I left an aggressive voicemail. You heard the voicemail. We all heard it. And it was a very aggressive. Okay, it was that she said, you know how I am. That's a threat. So now she's trying to tap dance and throw flowers and shit on it. Oh, he said that I left what did he say? Aggressive, very demanding. All right, yeah, bitch, you was very bitchy in the voicemail. It was without a doubt.
And in a way, I will say that is true. Because once the text was received, I did make it very, very, very clear that this type of negativity is not what's going to be allowed in this space. And
okay, he was negative, huh?
If this type of negativity is what you're bringing, do not bring it here.
Now, this is why I can't say, man, like I would say, dude, like if you're dating, let's say this woman's dating. Okay, let's say she's dating. If she's dating, she can never be comfortable with you as the boyfriend. She's too busy trying to sabotage the ex-husband, right? She hasn't even healed from that particular trauma. So she's going to bring that trauma. You're going to inherit that baggage from her, which is going to complicate your relationship. All right, so you see what she's doing here, but you heard the voicemail. All right, the voicemail tells it all. And not only that, we got the lawsuit, punitive damages from an alleged book that was written by this woman. All right, really got her real quick. All right, shut that shit down.
Gotcha, bitch.
Shut that shit down. So it is very tough. Unfortunately, this is a tough situation, and these ain't my kids, but I got kids that are in similar situations. It's not easy, and it's not easy to just be the bigger man. It's not easy, all right, because there's a lot of toxicity happening in the background. Most of the time, the pot's being stirred, and all you're trying to have is a relationship with your kids, but you're signing up for this trauma. I believe there's a viral video of Christopher Smith talking about this as well, of him disowning his own daughter. And Christopher Smith is a legend in this space. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers. He used to go by the League of Dads. But I seen there's a viral clip of him saying, I had to wash my hands of my daughter. He calls his daughter his former daughter. Okay. And this has been documented for many, many years. He's been talking about this. But hey, sometimes you got to just be like, it's not worth it. It's not worth the stress, the trauma. I want to live until I'm 85 and 90. I'm not going to let this woman, you got to think, Brian McKnight and this ex-wife is 50. Right there in their 50s. When I tell you the free agent lifestyle is the recipe, why is Brian McKnight, why are you fighting over kids that are grown in your 50s? Right? Like, you don't want these things. People want to move on with life. This woman has not moved on with her life. Okay? You can tell. And I'm gonna say this one more time. When you have marriage, divorce, or kids with a woman, this is payment. You know why? You can never divorce this woman. I don't care what you do in the laws, in the courts. You never divorce them. You can divorce them on paper, but there's never a divorce, meaning that you're going to see your kids through your ex high school graduation, driver's license, first car, first relationship, first marriage, their first kid, in sickness, right? Your kids get sick. In this case, nobody anticipated Nico's health to fall to the point where he dies and traumatize them even further. But now your kid's sick, and now they need treatment and care and recovery and hospice. There's no divorce. I don't believe there's divorce, okay, when there's kids. So, guys got to take these things really not lightly. They're really heavy. This is why the free agent lifestyle was a big deal for me, because I can say, hey, at some particular point, I will be truly free. All right. Especially then if I can look at my ex and whoever kid don't want to be a part of my life and say, okay, fine. All right. Come see me if you're sick or you need. All right. But until then, catch up with me. All right. There ain't no reason for me to stress my motherfucking self out because the kids took on the mantle of the mom. And that way the mom continues to instigate in my life forever. Okay. You're not going to instigate in my life forever. Just like this woman right here. Like they're in their mid-50s still fucking around and trying to get revenge on each other and suing each other. I promise myself as a free agent, I will never engage in that. Right? It is what it is, motherfucker. My life goes on. So, because these women tend to, when they get older, not able to move on. All right. And then, when you have kids with them, they continue to then be vindictive towards you, even when the kids are adults. All right. And they'll use the kids to continue to get that one up on you.